Hey, this is Bliss from Compute Hustle. Today we'll be learning about Kafka. If you aren't sure what it is, basically it's a real-time data pipeline technology that big companies use for whatever data processing needs that they have. So for example, companies like LinkedIn use it for its data analytics properties. You can also use Kafka for reading through logs in a software application and searching for cybersecurity threats and whatever else that you might need data processing for with a continuous running data source. So to get us started, let's go to the Kafka quick start page. So first go to kafka.apache.org. After that, go to the quick start page, which is on the left-hand menu. Right click and open up the download hyperlink. And just click the first mirror that you see. In my case, you're going to get this TGZ file. Just download whatever's the latest for you as of this video. And we're also going to need the Zookeeper download. So go to zookeeper.apache.org and go under Getting Started and click Download Zookeeper from the release page. Click Download from Apache Mirrors and just click the first link. And then just get whatever's the latest version for you. Right now it's 3.5.6 for me. And make sure you download the bin.tar.gz when you're choosing files. So as you can see, I already have it downloaded. I'll just download it again. And then once you're finished with that, go ahead and open whatever terminal you have. I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to open up iTerm. Hopefully it's clear for you to see on here. And I'm going to navigate to whatever folder that I downloaded my files to. So for me, it's desktop, Apache downloads. And you can press tab to finish whatever file name you're typing down. And as you can see, we have our Apache Zookeeper tar.gz and we have our kafka.tgz. So go ahead, and this should work on if you're in a Linux or a Mac, but basically we're just going to be extracting the files here. Go ahead and run tar.xvf -xvf, and we're going to start the Zookeeper. And it should look something like that. As you can see, it's in there without the .tar or .gz now, and just run the same command on the Kafka file. So tar-xvf Kafka, and you should get your Kafka distribution too. So now we're going to move it into our /opt directory. So go ahead and type sudo move Apache, and make sure you don't add the .tar.gz on there, since we want to move our extracted files into the opt directory into /opt. I'll put in my password, and then just do the same for your Kafka. Same extracted file. And then as you can see, if we look into our /opt, we have them in there. And make sure, I'm doing it on a MacBook, so I need to run sudo. If you're running this as an administrator, you shouldn't need that, but if you're on a Linux or whatever else, just add sudo to the command so you have permission to do this. So now we're going to move into our /opt directory. And as you can see, we have our Kafka and our Zookeeper files both extracted. So now we're going to create a soft link. So if you aren't sure what a soft link is, it's basically like a shortcut, but inside of the terminal. And basically you just do it like this. You type ln-s for a soft link. And let's do one for Kafka first. And just instead of the Kafka, you're going to have your original file, and you're going to have the shortcut name for it as your second parameter. Oops, I gotta have permission to do that. So add sudo if you're on a MacBook, and then just do the same for your Zookeeper file. So ln-s Apache, and then run it for Zookeeper. So now you have both shortcuts, and just so you know, they're symbolic links. So they're basically both pointing towards the same file. So if you delete something in one soft link, then it's still going to be deleted in the original file. So just keep in mind these are shortcuts, not actual copies. So cd into your Zookeeper first. As you can see, we have a bin and a conf directory. First, we're gonna start our Zookeeper server. So go ahead and run sudo bin slash zk server.sh start, and then conf slash zoo sample.cfg. And I'll have these commands in the description below. So as you can see, our Zookeeper server started. And now we can run our Kafka brokers. And if you're wondering why exactly we need to have Zookeeper to use Kafka, basically Zookeeper is our key value store. So basically it holds all the key values for configuration purposes and state management when it comes to our cluster in Kafka. So it's mandatory. And so let's exit out of this directory. So do 2 dots to get out, /op. And let's go into our Kafka directory. And now we can run our first broker. Oh, and I'll also leave in the description how you can, as you can see, there's some Zookeeper sh files here. You can also run a Zookeeper with just their original Kafka bin you download, or basically the directory you download. It basically has a dirty version of Zookeeper here that you can run as well, but we're just using the Zookeeper that we've downloaded already since it's just more, I guess, formal that way. So basically, let's run our Kafka server by going sudo bin slash Kafka server start.sh and then config slash server.properties. And as you can see, this command prompt's been taken up, and there's been a lot of logging here, but you can see that this Kafka server is successfully started by this Kafka server and the ID equals 0 started. So this is the idea of our Kafka broker, and basically this is basically our cluster that we currently have for building topics and whatnot. And basically, just a gist of it here, what's going on is we've started our Kafka server, or aka our broker, which is going to run our topics, and that's where our partitions and our backups are going to go. So let's go back to our op directory, and let's also head over to our quick start page on Kafka's official documentation. As you can see, we've already started both our Zookeeper server. As you can see, you can run this command as well to run a Zookeeper server instance if you don't have the original Zookeeper distribution downloaded. But we've already started our Zookeeper server over here originally, but it's fine. And then from here, you can start creating your first topic. So over here, we're just going to run this command. Basically, we have a couple things going on here. We have our local host. This is basically the port that's going to be running the topic. And we have as well the replication factor, which means the number of backups we have for this topic. So for example, if we have 3 nodes that are running this topic, and 1 master node, 2 slave nodes, and 1 goes down, our topic will still be up and running for basically continuing to take messages. And our partitions is the number of nodes which are basically our messages are being distributed to. So, and these can be overlapping as well. A node can be a backup as well as a partition for the topic at hand. So it's a little complicated to explain here, but let's just go ahead and go through this. So feel free to just copy and paste this, but I'll type it in entirely. So bin slash Kafka topics.sh create bootstrap server localhost 9092 replication factor 1 partitions 1 topic, and then you give your topic name. So we're just going to call this test like in the tutorial. And it should take a little while to create. And then we can also run this command bin/Kafka topics.sh list bootstrap server localhost 9092. And 9092 is just basically the default port that's used by Kafka. So as you can see here, we have the topic we've created over here. And if we ran this before we created the topic, there would be nothing coming up. So now let's just try running through some messages through our Kafka topic that's running now. And of course, you can see there's some changes going on in our broker. You're going to need this running to be able to write to your topic. So now let's just send some messages. So as you can see here, we're just continuing through this tutorial. We're going to need both a producer and a consumer, and basically our producer will be responsible for writing messages and our consumer will be responsible for reading them. So in this tab, we're just gonna start creating some messages. And if you're wondering, this is iTerm too on a MacBook if you're looking for something with tabs. You should probably use whatever terminal is comfortable with you, but you might have to create a couple of them since this is being taken up by the broker. And the only way to exit out is by basically breaking the broker, at least to my knowledge right now. I'll search for ways to, maybe I'll have some tips on the command line in a later video, but for now, I'll just stick with this. So now let's start the producer. Basically, you're just going to be able to manually type in messages once you've had it created. sh broker list. You can just copy and paste this if you want, but I recommend writing it down or typing it out. And you give the same topic as you created earlier. So as you can see, it's worked since you see this little left or right direction arrow, and you can start writing messages. But first, let's open up our consumer in a separate directory. So go to your /op directory, cd Kafka, and let's also start the consumer. So, and for special effect, we'll open them up together. So bin/Kafka console consumer.sh bootstrap server localhost 9092 topic test from beginning. And if you used a different topic name, just make sure you change it to use whatever topic name you used. So now we're waiting on messages, and we're also getting some updates inside of our Kafka broker. So now let's just open these two side by side so you can see that messages are being written at the same time. Let's just put that aside. And now I'm going to start writing messages. So hello world, typical message, and you can see it's being written there. This is Bliss from Compute Hustle. This will be my first time using Kafka. And as you can see, it's basically sending messages through a topic and being able to create an infinite number of producers and consumers at will. And that's one of the key features for Kafka, being able to run as many consumers and producers as you want. And basically, this is pretty much the gist of how Kafka works. You have your brokers, you have your Zookeeper servers, and you can send messages back and forth. And right now, it might seem kind of pointless, but the main purpose of this is that it's distributed and horizontally scalable. So for example, if we were generating millions of messages or actions at once, for example, like 1 million people using a website like LinkedIn, it's extremely helpful to be able to scale horizontally, or AKA add more computers to our cluster. So for now, I'm just going to leave it here. We can stop by basically exiting out of our Kafka broker. So we didn't have our gentle shutdown in the configuration, so you're just going to have to hard exit out of here. I'm just using Control-C on my computer. And you can also go back to your Zookeeper server, Zookeeper directory, and shut it down by running bin sudo bin slash zookeeper server.sh stop conf slash zoo sample. Yeah, and now it's stopped. And now that was just a quick start into Kafka. In the next tutorial, we'll talk about how to set up a multi-broker cluster and whatnot. And also, I'll show you how to write messages using the Kafka Java library, which will be much more useful for getting data that's actually useful. And so that's it for this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave whatever comments you have in the comment section below, and like and subscribe.